Corruption isn't new to Kenyans. If anything, over the last quarter century, Kenyans have become very familiar with the word.
And they know the truth.
No! But the type of corruption which we uncovered affects us on a daily basis in almost every way.
The Mombasa port is the crown jewel of the Kenya Revenue Authority, earning it billions of shillings in a year. But it's also the source of corruption and billions of shillings for people who use this port for their own nefarious means.
The port of Mombasa for a long time has been seen as a conduit for corruption. But the allegations, however credible, have for the most part not been proven, especially in recent times when Kenya Revenue Authority revenues from the port have more than quadrupled over the past 9 years, starting after the regime change in 2003.
There was a period in Kenya in 2003-2004 when Kenyans happily paid taxes, and the Kenya Revenue Authority had a breath of fresh life, a new life. And that was because people believed that payment of tax was a patriotic duty.
But from what we've discovered, for many, especially those importing goods into Kenya, that incentive no longer remains. Businessmen, clearing and forwarding agents, and Kenya Revenue Authority officers now collude to evade tax and have created for themselves their own alternate system of payment. We looked for and found clearing and forwarding agents, businessmen, and KRA officials who spoke to us off camera about how all this goes down. And according to them, here's how it works. A large percentage of Kenyans import from two source markets, Dubai and China. When the goods arrive at the Mombasa port, there are two ways that they get into the market without being exposed to tax. One of these is that these goods are declared as goods in transit to other markets in East Africa and are thus exempt from value-added tax and other taxes that they would attract if destined for Kenya. They then leave the port using the same documentation to fool weighbridge and customs officers. And once they pass those barriers, they're delivered to businessmen who pay a very small sum for them compared to what they would have paid for the goods if they had been taxed. Meanwhile, the documentation for these goods travels on to Kenya's borders, where corrupt customs officials are paid by the businessmen or clearing and forwarding agents who imported the goods to approve the document, so it looks like the goods have left the country. That's one scenario. The other is that once the goods arrive, the goods importers do not declare everything they have shipped in and pay off Kenya Revenue Authority officials at the port and at the document processing center in the KRA so that the goods are cleared without counter-checking what had been brought in. These goods are then delivered to the clearing agents' warehouses, from where they are either picked up by the businessmen that ordered them or delivered to these businessmen. Now this carries its own threats.
If there are corrupt revenue officials who would take a kickback not to open a container, then you could have the importation of material for things which would threaten national security.
But without proof, all this would be is an urban legend. So we decided to get that proof. There are 945 KRA approved clearing and forwarding agents in Kenya. We would choose one of these that we were told by our sources is infamous for this kind of corruption. One that has its business not just in Kenya, but in Dubai, one of Kenya's import sources, the African Salhia Company. We then took on false identities. I would pose as John Kanyago, a businessman dealing in spare parts, looking to import some spares without paying tax. My colleague Mohammed Ali would pose as Kimani Wanyoike, my sales manager in our company, Kanyago Spare Parts. With money from our company, the Standard Group, we would import a number of car spare parts whose value came to 500,000 Kenya shillings in order to look like the real deal. These goods would ordinarily attract tax of up to 200,000 shillings. We were looking to see how much tax we would be able to avoid. Before approaching the African Salhia Company, we got a quotation from a spare parts dealership in Dubai, Al Shamali Auto Parts. Then we made the call. First, to African Salhia's Dubai branch.
Hi, my name is John Kanyago.
Okay.
I'm calling from Kenya.
Okay.
Now, is this Salhia company? Salhia?
Yeah, this is Africa here.
Now, I am a spare parts dealer here in Kenya. Do you have a Kenyan contact here, someone who I can discuss with? Because I will be frank with you.
Yeah, you can call this number 729.
Okay, just hold on. 0729
6561 82.
Who should I ask for there?
You talk to Mr. Ibrahim.
Then their Kenya office, and I spoke to a man called Ibrahim Abdirahman, the company's local operations manager.
Hello, is this Bwana Ibrahim?
Yes.
Habari yako. My name is John Kanyago. Now I'm looking to import some spare parts for my biashara,
Okay.
And I want to do it quite quickly.
Okay.
About 1 to 1.5 cbm. Now I wanted to know how you guys are going to charge me for it.
How many? You wanted to send by sea,
Yes, by sea.
1.5 CBM.
Yeah.
Will cost you 51,500.
51,500
Yeah.
to import.
Yeah.
51,000 shillings is quarter the amount of tax that we should have to pay the KRA, and that's excluding the clearing and forwarding agent's commission. I decided to press further.
Does that include all the tax payments na kila kitu? Ama it is a wholesome price?
Yeah, we charge all inclusive. That amount,
So sijui
unajua
kama tunaweza
sasa vile
organize.
sisi tunafanya
Eh.
tuna okota mizigo ya watu wengi, alafu hizi ndio tunakilia hiyo. Sasa iwezi andikwa jina lako peke yako,
Haita andikwa jina yangu. So ni nyinyi mtasimamia?
Yeah. Sababu unajua sisi tunapata mizigo mingi tofauti.
So utanipatia hizo documents za verification na kila kitu?
Sasa unajua mizigo sio yako peke yako, hiyo itatoka na jina letu na huwezi patiwa hiyo document.
So huwezi nipatia za goods zangu?
Huwezi tengenezwa kando.
Bona? Ama ni hivyo?
Huwezi tengenezwa kando sababu unajua mizigo ni mingi. So if you have declare spare parts, ndio watu wengi wanaleta spare parts, sio peke yako.
So kwenu italeta gharama kama mtadeclare kila kitu lazima niende kwa port ama utaileta mpaka my door?
Utalipa tu ile transport charges.
After that conversation, we sent the money to Al Shamali Auto Spare Parts and corresponded with them via email, instructing them to hand over our goods to the African Salhia agent in Dubai for delivery. 4 weeks later, it was time to head to Mombasa to continue our investigation of this chain of corruption and to confirm whether our goods had arrived. And the deeper we went, the more evidence we gathered of a black tax system and thriving impunity at the port. John-Allan Namu, KTN, for the Inside Story.